Welcome to another edition of 42 Straight Years In. On my crackhead update, I went to the 7-Eleven last night about 11 o'clock on Ross Avenue, and I saw this pretty chick, man. She got a perfect Coke bottle shape. She homeless. She got her shopping cart with her bedroll and her suitcases in it. And this was a beautiful woman. She came up and asked me, did I have a light? So I had an extra cigarette lighter in the car, so I gave her the cigarette lighter. She asked me, hey, what are you up to tonight? I said, well, I got to make a small purchase and I'm heading back to the house. And she asked me, would you like some company? I said, no, I got to sleep. I got to go to sleep. I got a long day tomorrow. Now, it got to be something really wrong with the lady look this good and homeless. Ain't a doubt in my mind say a man wouldn't pick her up. She looked way better than these guys got these land whale and bug-eyed looking old ladies. With fake hair, fake nails, everything is fake about them. Well, they want this perfect man. This lady here look way better than they do. And she homeless. She had on clean clothes. She looked clean, but she had this shopping cart with some of her personal belongings. And she had a suitcase, backpacks, and in a shopping cart. This is the first time I had seen them at 7-Elevens over here in East Dallas. But I was just riding down Ross Avenue. I passed two 7-Elevens just to go to this particular one that I go to all the time. And they had guys sitting out on soda water crates like they did security. I ain't never had seen that over here. Now, I don't know why in the hell you want to hang out in East Dallas. There's nowhere to eat over here. There's no shelters over here. You know, most people hang out towards South Dallas where they got resources. There's a lot of places to eat in South Dallas. They feed all day over there. You can eat breakfast, dinner, and supper in South Dallas if you know where to go. There's no resources over here. There's a church not too far from me. They give out food, I think once every 2 weeks, but you got to have an address. And the food is uncooked, so if you don't have a stove or a microwave, that food is not going to do you no good. But you can go to South Dallas and eat all day long. It's a restaurant over there. They feed the homeless every day. They pass out meals. Now, that's my crackhead update. And next week, I was going to do the video today on my homeboy, Bernardus Dove Lee. He was convicted in November the 21st of 1997 of murder from Dallas County. And he's actually innocent of the crime. He's been incarcerated over 24 years on a crime that he didn't commit. So next week, I'm going to try to partner up with Tim Snow with Texas Prison Stories, where we can try to get the public involved to help this guy out. Now, most guys majority of people been locked up 20-some years. They don't have outside support. If you do have a family on the outside, they don't have the resources to pay an attorney to assist this guy. More or less, he got to get the actual Innocent Project or some attorney to take his case pro bono in order for him to get judicial relief. Now, this guy was caught up. Dallas County specialized in convicting guys. A lot of guys been acquitted in Dallas County is actual innocent of the crime. They lead Texas in that category. And he's confined at the Mark Stiles unit. I was going to travel to the Mark Stiles unit in Beaumont to do a live video with him, but they're on constant lockdown at that facility due to COVID-19. I think over 15 inmates have died at that one facility. And they just went on lockdown again a couple of days ago. A guy dropped dead. And we're going to try to drum up some support for this guy. Also today, I'm going to speak on child support in the state of Texas. Now, this applies to a lot of convicted felons. Just because you're in an institution, it does not mean child support would not be filed against you. If your wife, your ex-girlfriend who you've had a kid by, if she go ask for any type of government assistance, they're going to ask her who is the father. She give them your name, they're going to track you down. And child support will be filed against you. The hard part is they're going to backdate it. They're going to go back 5 years. And regardless of, you ain't even got income because you're in a maximum security facility. And Texas inmates do not receive any type of compensation during their incarceration. Still, child support, interest, and penalties will be added onto you, and you must pay this when you are released. Now, I met one young guy. One day he had got a letter from the Attorney General of Texas, and he didn't know what it was. He brought it over to me and said, "Hey, school, what is this about, man?" I looked at it. He owed over $80,000 in back child support. I think he had been incarcerated about 10 years. He had a 99-year sentence, so he had almost 20 years to go before he's eligible for parole. So by the time he's up for parole, in the event he is released, he will owe over $250,000 with no income. And if he don't take advantage of what the prison system got to offer, no job skills. Now, in the state of Texas, under Texas Penal Code, Section 2505, criminal non-support, if you do not pay child support in the state of Texas, it is a state jail felony. A state jail in Texas is one step below a Texas prison unit. Texas prison units are known as ID unit, institutional division units. That's what an actual prison is known in Texas. A state jail is one step below. Now, at a state jail, as long as you can be confined at a state jail, is 2 years. But if you already been to prison and you on parole and you release and you locked up for child support and they decide to file criminal charges against you, they would enhance that state jail felony and make it a felony where you will go to an ID unit. Now, instead of facing 2 years, you facing 2 to 10. I have seen a guy in prison had a life sentence for failure to pay child support. They used all his prior convictions and enhanced that state jail felony and made it a first-degree felony, and a jury assessed a life sentence against this guy. Even though it's a non-violent life sentence, in Texas, he'll serve 6 years and approximately 8 months, and he'll be eligible for parole. The key word is eligible for parole. That don't mean you make it. Like I said in my last video, under Texas law, under the Texas Constitution, you do not have a constitutional right to parole. It is a privilege that you must earn. And you must meet all the eligibility requirements. So guys, you got to watch who you lay down with. And for the ladies also, I know a female don't want a deadbeat guy. You got to watch who you put your baloney pony in. You got to wrap that thing up. Because if this lady get pregnant, even though she can say, "Hey, man, I'm not going to file against you," say that kid gets sick. And she got to go get medical attention for this kid. They got programs for that. And they're going to ask who the father is. Or if she go ask for food stamps, or she try to get on housing, they're going to want to know who the kid's father is. When she call your name, it is on in your life. So you got to watch who you procreate with. Because farther down the line, it can cause you serious consequences. It's a lot of guys in Texas prison have child support filed on them. Some of these guys serving life, some of them are short offenders. But parole is going to require you to pay that child support. If you don't pay the child support, now you got problem out of your parole officer. And you don't know if the parole officer going to file a blue warrant to get you arrested and have a hearing. You don't know what's going to happen at that hearing. It's going to consist of parole supervisor and other parole officers. You don't know if they vote to send you back to prison for child support. And all the while you incarcerated in the jail or in prison, interest is steady compounded. It's steady growing. They don't take anything off. All the while you locked up, they don't deduct that from your child support. You still got to pay that plus the penalties. They'll garnish your wages. You're not even going to see an income tax check. They got to take that. They'll put a levy against your house, and they will take your driver's license. And it's hard in hell. How you going to go to work with no driver's license? You got to constantly hide from the cops. If you get stopped for a routine traffic violation, you just got sent to jail. Most likely you ain't going to have insurance. So the car is towed and you will go to jail. They ain't going to just write a ticket. They're going to lock you up. Now, if you had insurance, it's a possibility, but you'll have a warrant for child support, for non-support. You still going to jail. And on child support, incarceration, you do not have a bond. It's non-bondable. So you get in the county jail, you basically stuck there 6 months. And you're going to lose all your personal property. And like I said earlier, the interest and penalties are still being added on to the original child support. You still got to pay that. Now, it's pitiful you would have to get sent back to prison for child support. But you got to look at it like this. That still is your kid. You may not care nothing about the mother, but you should care something about the kid. You know, I was telling the guy, so even if you don't have money, because most people, if they don't cut for the wife, they go and get another old lady. So now you started a family over here. That requires money. You got to support that family. At least go by and take the kid to a football game. It's a lot of stuff is free. To a museum, take them to the park, walk around and talk to them. You at least participate in the kid's life, whether you had money or not. You know, right across from where I live at is a park. It's a guy, he sponsor a youngster football tournament. And he paid for it out of his own money. Man, it's a lot of kids, because there's some projects not too far from where I live. Man, a lot of those kids participate in the football. And I see fathers standing out there cheering the kids on, showing them how to catch a football, how to block. Do something. Be active in the kid's life. Because, if you come from a single parent family, you should know what it was like being raised up by a single mother. Especially a young male, he needs a male in his life. A woman cannot teach a kid how to throw a curveball. She can't teach him how to shoot a three-pointer or how to dunk. There's a lot of manly things that he would need to know in his life to keep from being feminized. I see a lot of guys, they hella emotional. That comes basically from being raised by a single parent. Once I was at Cocker Hill, and I was sitting at the Cocker Hill station. And I was smoking a cigarette, and this lady, she's smoking a cigarette. Me and her was talking. Two young guys got off the bus. One of them asked her for a cigarette. She said, "I don't give a man a cigarette. You mean you asking a woman for a cigarette?" Now that should be a two-way street, but that's her philosophy on life. And so the youngster got mad. It was two of them. One of them started saying, "Man, I don't feel this, man. I'm going to have to kill me somebody today, man." I was just sitting there looking at him. Look at this stupid feminized dude. He think with a woman's emotion. He don't even think like a young man. That lady don't owe you nothing. You shouldn't even be asking people for their stuff. You should get your own or do without. Many times I did without. I got too much pride and dignity. I'm not going to ask you for shit. I'm not going to ask you for nothing. If I can't get it myself, that means I won't have it. Enough ranting and raving. I'm going to head out in a few minutes Keep your shanks ready in case we have to ride on these fools. Like and subscribe. And I thank you for watching.